Okay, guys, we are live. So, hello everyone. This is me, Harshal Jain, and today we are going to build the next pages of our grocery store application using reactjs. So, as you can see, that today our main goal is to build this product page. Okay, so this is a beautiful product page, as you can see, built by me. Okay, so that's a very great one, and have some just pass some random text here. Okay, so you can see, yeah, it's looking pretty much fine, and I'll also refine the stylings. Okay, I'll change the stylings also. All right, so you can see, yeah, we can work on this one. And also here you can see that if I click on plus, I am redirected to this page. Okay, and okay, so we'll be working on this section today. All right, so I guess I am clear with that. And before moving on, I wanted to show you the source code of the previous videos. So you just have to type github.com/virajj014 and you are good to go. So I can simply type github.com/virajj014. Here you can see that we have, by the way, you can follow me here. So here we can see that we have the fit grocery. Okay, the fit grocery repository here, so you can check out this repository, and if you don't find this repository, you can search it directly from this search bar. Okay, so just visit this one, and you can also star this one to make it in the star section. Okay, so I guess I am clear with the source code, and if you want this source code, I'll also share this in live chat. Okay, so that's it. And now, before moving on, in the description or in the live chat, you'll find a link of full stack development with course with React.js and Node.js. So you can check out that course. That's a very great course, by the way, by GeeksforGeeks. And it's a paid one because it contains all the important concepts required for becoming a full stack developer, and it's actually for advanced level. Okay, so if you are aiming for something advanced, then you can definitely go for this course. Okay, so that's it, and now we can continue with our today's video. So our goal is to achieve this page. Okay, achieve this page. So how can we do that? We can simply say that first of all we need to open it with VS Code. Okay, and I'll open it with npm start. Okay, npm start. All right. So as you can see, till yesterday we have covered it till here, but if I click on any one, you can see that it's not working. Why it's not working? Because we need to work on this one. Okay. By the way, don't worry about this selection one, because I don't know, there is some issue with my VS Code. Okay, my React.js, so it's causing some issues. But yeah, it's working fine on other PCs. I have tested it. Okay, so we want something like, if I click on this plus, I want a category. You can say that I want a quantity increasing and decreasing section and add to cart button. Okay, so we'll build that. And also, if I click on this image, I want to open the product page. Okay, so I'll be just splitting my screen into halves, and then okay. All right. So as you can see, it this much was done till yesterday. So I'll open the code here. Okay, I'll split my code in the right side so that it's visible to me very easily. Okay. So guys, first of all, what we need to do is, I hope the code is visible, by the way. And if it's not, then you can ask me in the live chat. I'll change the size. All right. So what I was trying to say is, first of all, we need a section. Okay. We need a section. Hmm. First of all, we need a section. If I click on the product card, I want the quantity. Okay, so I'll visit the product card. I'll visit the product card, and where is my product card? Here is my product card. Product card. Okay, so this was our product card, and I want something like, if I click on this plus button, okay, I want a quantity section and with add to cart. Okay, so first of all, I'll create some hooks so that I'll change the visibility of that quantity section whenever we click that button. So I'll say const show comma set show. Okay, set show equals react dot use state false. Okay, you can also directly import it instead of making it react dot use state. I can import use state like this. Okay, use state can be imported from react.js. All right, so similarly I want one more thing. I want the quantity, initial quantity of my product, if I am selecting is can be one. Okay, so I'll say qty. Okay, qty set qt, that is 1. Okay, so initial value of my quantity will be 1, and I can increase it, not decrease it. Like if it's 2, then it can become 1, but if it's 1, then quantity can't be 0 due to the logic. Okay, so what I want is, as soon as I click this button, I want to make it true and I want to show a section. Okay, if this is false, you can see that initially this is false, this is false. Okay, so we'll be able to see these buttons, these two buttons. But if it's true, we won't be able to see these buttons. How can we do that? We can say that this add btn section, okay, add btn section will be shown whenever, obviously, that show value is false. Okay, when show value is false, we'll be showing this section. So I'll say that if show is true, then we'll show nothing. Okay, right now we are showing nothing, and if it's false, then we'll show our container. Okay, so right now it's false, that's why we are able to see that. Suppose if I make it true, okay, if show key value is true, then you can see all are gone because initial value is 2. Okay, so I'll say that if I click on this one, I'll change the value of show to false. Okay, so show to true. All right, so for that, what can we do is we need to target this one. This is our plus icon. Okay, this is our plus icon. So I'll say that here you can say that if I click on this one, I'll say set show will become set show will pass value true. That means value of show will now become true. Okay, so if I click on this one, you can see that it's gone. Only this one is gone because obviously I clicked on only this one. If I click on this one, this will be gone. If I click on this one, this will be gone. Okay, so you can see, yeah, it's working fine. And now what we have to do is uh we need to create this section. Okay, this section must be created. So again, I'll say that it will be a division. Okay, it will be a division but different buttons. Okay, so I'll just remove these. Okay, I'll just remove these. It will be a at btn container, and I want something like a division which will contain my plus, minus, and quantity value. Okay, so for that I can say that create a division. Okay, create a division, and I can give it a class name of again qty. Qty will be fine. Okay, quantity, and here you can say that first of all I'll have my button. Okay, I'll have my button, which will be what? Which will be minus button. Okay, and similarly I'll have a p tag which will display my quantity. Okay, I'll have a p tag which will display my quantity. So I'll say qty. Okay, it will display the value of my quantity. You can see that it's now displaying 1. Suppose if I make it 2, you can see that now 2 will be shown. If I click on this, you can see that now 2 will be shown. Okay, so it's working fine. And also I need a plus button to increment the value. Okay, so suppose if I say that if I am clicking on minus, okay, suppose right now I'll do it for plus. Okay, I'll do it for plus first. Okay, so if I click on click over this button, I'll say that if somebody clicks this button, then increase the value of set qty by plus 1. Okay, that means what? Qt plus 1, qty plus 1. That means if it was 2, now it will become 3. Now it will become 3. Okay, so let's see that if I click on this one, you can see now it's becoming increasing. Okay, but as soon as I click on minus 1, I want it to be decreased. But till when? If it's greater than 1, then only we are able to decrease. If it's equal to 1, then we must not be able to decrease so that it doesn't become 0. Okay, that's the logic. So I'll say that if qty is greater than 1, okay, then we'll okay, I'm sorry, is greater than 1. Okay, I missed something. I'll say that on click equals here you have to say that if I click on this one, arrow function. Okay, arrow functions are very important so that it doesn't call itself automatically. Okay, that's why I use arrow functions pretty much everywhere. Okay, so I'll say that if value of qty is greater than 1, then I'll say that uh, hey, do one thing, simply decrement the value. So if it's greater than 1, then the value will be decreased. You can see that the value is decreasing, but as it reaches 1, it won't decrease further. You can see that now it's not becoming 0, okay, because of the restriction we have kept here. Okay, we have kept here. That means the logic is working fine. Okay, so we have our container, qty container. Similarly, we need our another container for add to cart button, obviously. So if you have selected the quantity which you wanted, then you need the add to cart button. Okay, so for add to cart button, simply just write div, okay, just write div, and I can say that oh, instead of create button, we can simply create a button now. We can simply create a button. Okay, we can create a button, and I can give it a class name of add to C. Okay, add to cart. All right, fine. So I'll say that it will have a value of add to cart. Okay, fine. So now you can see that we have add to cart button. We have the quantity. Okay, so suppose if I click on this one, you can see that it is shown for this one. And by the way, I want my initial value to be always 1. Okay, so it will always be 1 as soon as you click anyone. You can see that it will always be 1. Okay, now we are going to style these inside. You can see we are going to style these sections. So simply visit the product card dot css. Okay, product card dot css. And here, my friend, what do you have to do is we need to target the qty section inside add btn division. Okay, we need to target the qty section. Qt. Okay. So first of all, I'll say that my display will be flex. That means they will be in a row. Okay, they will be in a row. You can see now they are in a row. Okay, fine. And after this, what can we do? भाई तुम हिंदी बोलते ज्यादा अच्छी लगते हो. Abhishek, actually, some people understand English better, so that's why I drive English more. Okay, but the reason for speaking English is actually I love Hindi more, by the way, but the reason for speaking English is only one reason, that is to cover more audience. Okay, there's not only the Hindi people watching this. There are other kinds of people who know Tamil, Telugu, and other from other parts of this world also. Okay, so I don't expect everyone to learn Hindi so that they can understand this one. So that's why I chose English for teaching. Okay, so uh, by the way, I prefer Hindi always. All right. So now, what do we need to do is QTY section. Okay, so in the QTY section, I'll say that first of all, I made the display as flex. I'll say that the align items will be center. Okay, so I'll say align items will be center. That will center this way, center. Okay, and I'll say the justify content will be center. You can see that now it's in center. And I'll say the gap between each three things are present inside, right? Two buttons and one p tag. So you can see that I've given some space in between. Okay, and I can say that it will take 100% width and 100% height available, whatever height it has. Okay, and I'll say that the background color is white. Okay, background color is white, and I can give it some border radius of 5 pixels. Okay, 5 pixels. Some box shadow. Okay, some box shadow is given so that it is lifted by some values. Okay, so now inside the qty I have my buttons, plus and minus button, some common styling. So I'll say my button will be having width of 30 pixels. Okay, so you can see width of 30 pixels. I'll say height will also be 30 pixels. Okay, I will also be of 30 pixels. And I'll say the background color of them will be white. Text color will be, I want my theme color. That means the uh, that means what? That means this green color. Okay, so you can see, yeah, it's looking fine. And you can actually provide a better one if you want. And similarly, we need to target the p tag present inside the qty container. So I'll say that just remove the margin and padding and give it green color. Okay, give it the theme color. So if I click on this, you can see, yeah, now it's looking fine. So if I increase it, you can see that the quantity is able to increase. Okay, so you can I can do one more thing. I can, instead of this, I'll say that it will be having color of 1 and the text color will be white. Okay, so you can see, yeah, it's also looking fine. So it's up to you. You want to do things like this, you can, and it's your choice. Okay, so also I will say that if I if I could increase the width to 10, you can see that the width increases. Okay, so if you want to increase the width, you can. And as the quantity increases, obviously the container size will increase. You can see that the container size is increasing. Okay, now we want one more thing is the add to cart button styling. Okay, so similarly, we can say that we have a add to cart uh, class name, okay, inside the product. So I'll say that dot product add to cart. Okay, I'll say simply it won't have any border. Background color will be green, text color will be white, and that's the add to cart button. So if I can see that you can see that we have the add to cart button. Okay, so I guess it's looking fine. You can see that it's looking fine. And if I click on add to cart, I don't want to show this right now. So similarly, I'll say that if I click on add to cart, I click on add to cart, I'll say my set show will be right now. I'll just say that my set show will be false. Okay, set show will be false, and I'll say set my quantity will become again one. Or right now I'll just remove it. Okay, I'll just remove it, and I can give it an alert right now. I'm not adding anything to cart. Okay, by logic, but I'm just giving an alert product added to cart. Okay, so if I click on this, you can see that I'm getting an alert, and the selection is gone. Okay, so you can do this by yourself, and that's the basic section which I wanted to create this. After this, I'll say that if I click on this I button, I want a specific product page. So we are going to create the specific product page now, and let's do it. Okay, so you can see that we have this product folder. Okay, so I'll say that first of all, visit the pages. Okay, visit the pages. We are going to create a page for what? Page for uh, product. Okay, page for products. So first of all, I'll create a folder inside pages and name it as product. Okay, product. So it's easier for finding it. Okay, so I can say that its name is product HE dot JS. Okay, product page dot JS and product dot CSS, so that it's easier for us. Okay, so you can see, yeah, we are looking to a cleaner side now. And I'll say that first of all, my product page dot JS will be in this format, RAFC. The shortcut will only work when you have installed ES7 plus extension in VS Code. Okay, so in index, I'm sorry, no, in app.js, we need to set up the routing part. Okay, so for that, I can say that do one thing. Okay, do one thing. I'll say that if some route like of path, product, okay, product with some product ID, okay, with some product ID is called, then we are going to show that product according to its ID, right? So I'll say that element equals inside this, I'll say call my PRO product page. Okay, call my product page. So it will be automatically imported. If it's not, then you need to write the path like this. Okay, so you can see, yeah, it's completed and we need to close this tab. Okay, so suppose if I click on this plus button, I want to call this route. I want to call this route with some product ID. That means if I clicked on, if suppose if I clicked on this onion, I want this product. I want this product. So its ID will be sent to the product page and the data according to that product will be fetched. Okay, if I click on this, I don't know what do we call it in English. We in India we call it Shimla Mirch. Okay, so if I click on this Shimla Mirch, it will call its product ID and will be sent to a product page, and the data will be called according to that. So suppose right now I'm just taking a so for example, uh, we first of all say that yeah we have this component of product. Okay, we have this component of product, and we need to check that product ID is what. So for getting that, first of all, I'll just say that I have passed some temporary data. Okay, from where? From all products. Okay, so from all products, I guess I have passed some ID. You can see I am passing ID to each product. You can see that I am passing ID to each product. That's why it's called again and again. Or using mapping, and the product card component is called again and again. That's why we were able to see the product cards, right? So Every product will always have a unique ID, whether you are taking from any backend or somewhere else. Okay, so suppose this data was coming from backend and it has some unique ID. So I have passed a unique ID to each, and I hope I am giving them a unique ID. Yes, I have given them some unique ID. You can see that, yeah, all of them have some ID 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'll say that if I click on this first product, what's ID? What is the ID of this product one? You can see the ID is 1. Okay, so the route will be called slash product slash 1. Okay, so that's how we are going to deal with it. So for that we can say that here first of all we need to check what's the ID. Okay, so I'll say const get product ID. Okay, for now I'm just saying get product ID, and I'll say console.log data.id. That means data coming from the all products page for each product card will be there, and I am extracting the ID. When I'll call this, I'll simply call this right now, I'll just call it here. Okay, you can see that we have this first button, we have this first button, this one I button. Okay, I'll call it here. So I'll say on click, inside this I'll call my get product ID. Okay, get product ID. So if I click on this one, if I click on this one, I actually haven't given it an alert. So instead of this console log, I'll give it an alert. Okay, we are lazy enough to check the console. That's why I'm giving it an alert. So if I click on this, you can see that its ID was 1. If I click on this one, you can see its ID was 4. So I wanted to show you that each product will be having some unique ID. If you are taking it from backend also, it will have some unique ID. Okay, so that won't be causing an issue. But yeah, make sure your parameter is correct. Okay, some people will have their backend product ID with the key as prod ID. That means it will be something like this sometimes. Okay, that's different for different backends obviously, but for example we are taking this parameter. Okay, so you can see that yeah, it's working pretty fine. So I'll say that we don't need this function. I'll simply say that if I click on this, if I click on this uh button, I click on this button, I'll say that I'll call my link tag. Okay, link tag from react router dom. Okay, inside this just paste this. Okay, so I hope it's looking fine. Yeah, it's looking fine. I'll say that if I click on this link tag, I want my route to call this. Okay, slash product slash product ID. Okay, product ID will be like this. Where is this route defined? You can see that in app.js this route is defined. Yeah, product ID will be something. Okay, product ID will be something 1, 2, 3, 4, XYZ, whatever. Okay, it will come here. Okay, that's how you transfer props from one page to another using routes. Okay, using routes. So that's a very great thing you learned today. Okay, and many e-commerce platforms like Amazon use this technique to transfer products and fetch product according to that product ID. Okay, you can check it on your own. If you can visit on Amazon right now, you can check that if for any particular product the route says a unique product ID. You can check out the unique product ID in the route. Okay, so that's how links work. Okay, if I share the link of that particular product ID, it will be same for you. Okay, so that's easy. That's how you share links also. Okay, so I'll give it an example. Suppose if I click on this, okay, if I click on this, you can see that I am getting this route, getting this route with ID 1. Okay, so let's go back, and suppose if I click on this one, you can see I'm getting the route with product ID 3. Okay, so if I share you this link, you'll get the same result. Okay, you'll get the same result. Okay, so that's the benefit of passing properties to the route. Okay, to the route. You can see that I passed the product ID property to the route, and that's how in future if I have the product ID, you can obviously get the product data from the product ID from backend side. Okay, so now we will be building the product page. Okay, our section for here is covered. Now we'll be building the product page. Okay, so let's do that. Abhishek Kumar, I understand that. Okay, Vikas, hi Vikas, how are you? Harry says, brother, can you make a video on Google authentication using React Native Expo, please? I guess you didn't make it till now. Yes, I didn't made it till now. Okay, I'll try to make it. Actually, there are a lot of pending requests regarding the React Native projects. we are trying. Okay, we are trying. Once I finish this project, grocery store, then I guess there is some plan with the backend. I don't know about the backend, but yeah, after that we'll start the React Native projects also. Okay, so please wait for that. They will be soon coming, and this time I'll try to make projects using normal React Native CLI, not Expo. The reason is, I'll tell you the reason later on, because there are some reasons with Expo. Okay, you can use Expo, there isn't any issue, but nowadays I prefer React Native CLI more. Okay, because I faced a lot of issues, and there are a lot of things which needs to be introduced in Expo in future. That's why we'll see that on later projects. Okay, so thanks for the suggestion. By the way, we'll create a specific video on that. Okay, so now we are going to focus on the product page. Okay, so if I click on this, we are on the product page. So let's say that this part was done. We are going to start the product page. Okay, we are going to start the product page. You can see that we have the product page. And where is the product ID? Okay, so now we are going to get the product ID. How can we get the product ID? So you can see that in app.js, I have passed my product ID with this parameter. Okay, with this variable. You can consider this as an variable. If I call this variable, I'll get one, I'll get two, I'll get three, whatever the ID is it for the product. Okay, so this is very important. You must know this if you are building any kind of website using React.js, which uses this kind of concept. Okay, so now we'll be covering this. So how can we do that? We are in the product page, right? We are in the product page. So there is a very great uh, thing in React.js, very great hook in React.js named as use params. Use params, okay. Params, whatever it is. Okay, I'll say params. So here what you have to do is in the product page, I'll say that what variable is in my parameter. There can be multiple variables, by the way, not only a single variable. You can pass it by writing slash slash. Okay, that's how you can do. Like you could have passed another variable here. You can pass another variable similarly. For example, product prod name, some unique variable for identifying the product. Okay, if you want, you can. Else you can ignore this one. Okay, so you can pass multiple variables like this if you want. Okay, so there can be also other methods, by the way, by passing a whole string in the whole string of object here, multiple methods. Okay, so here you can see that we have the product ID named as variable as prod id. Okay, prod id. Okay, and I'll say it will be called from React router DOM. Okay, it will be called from React router DOM. Okay, use params will be called from React router DOM. So how can we get that? So for example, I'll say that I'll say that it will be having an h1 tag, product ID is okay. Inside this, I'll call my variable prod ID. Okay, so you can see now it's giving me one. Okay, suppose if I went back and if I click on this one, okay, if I click on this one, so it will give me 10. That means I am successfully able to get this variable from my route. Okay, from my route. So that's the benefit of use params. And congrats, you learned a new thing today, and it will be very helpful in future if you're building any kind of project using this concept. Okay, so now we are going to build the product page, and for that, first of all, we need to get a few variables here. Okay, a few variables are required, a few hooks are required. So I'll say const. Acha, what I'm trying to achieve is, see this one. First of all, I need a section for containing my images, product images. Okay, there can be a single product image or multiple product images for a particular product coming from the product object. Okay, so you can see I have some images. Okay, I passed some random images, but yeah, you can see that it's working fine. So that's how these images will be introduced. We'll be building the logic for that. Okay, and this data is also coming due to the product ID. Okay, so you can see, yeah, it's working pretty fine. And you can also increase the quantity like this. You can also click on add to cart, buy now option. Okay, I've given this, and then we have some description, then we have the reviews. Okay, so and so on. Okay, so now we are going to focus on this one, and we have the footer here. Okay, so we are going to focus on this one. So first of all, I'll create a few hooks. Const. I'll say, suppose all my product images. Suppose I have 4 5 product images. There can be one image. It will work. Okay, image set. Okay, image set, and I'll say that initially my images will be none. Okay, there will be no images. Okay, images will be no images. Okay, initially there will be no images. Once the data is fetched, product data is fetched, then it will load some images, 4 5 images inside this hook. Okay, just try to understand this one. We'll build the logic later on. Okay, so I'll say that suppose my product data will also be initially product data, comma set product data equals use date and none. Obviously, initially there will be no product data. We are going to get the product data from this product ID using the APIs which will be get from which we will get from backend. Okay, the APIs will you can create APIs which will get this from backend. Okay, for that you need to have some knowledge for backend. For front end, right now I'm just passing some temporary values, but initially it will be blank. Initially it will be blank unless the data will come up. Okay, so product data will be blank initially. Again, I'll say my active image which I am showing will be active image will also be one. Okay, so I'll say active image. I'll say that it will be blank. Okay, active image will be blank. Okay, blank object. Okay, suppose there are 5 images in image set. Okay, 5 product images of a single product. They will be inside the image set. Once the product data is loaded, we'll build logic for that. And once the data is here, I'll say my initial active image will be the zeroth indexed image of this array. Okay, so the zeroth index image will be passed here. If I click on first index image, the active image will become first index image, and that's how this logic will work. If I click on the zeroth index will be initially active. If I clicked on the first index will be shown as active image. This section is active image. This section can be considered as image set. Okay, image set. If I click on this one, this will be our active image. Okay, so that's how we will be building the logic for that. And now what else do we need is I'll say I'll create a function. I'll create a function which will say that I'll get the product by product ID. Okay, right now we don't have any backend, so I'll just pass some temporary values. But yeah, in this variable, if in future we are going to build the backend for that, I'll be using this function for getting the product data by ID. Okay, so I'll say get product data by product ID. Okay, so let's make it asynchronous. Okay, so you can use fetch API or Axios, whatever you want, and you need to create API from backend, all obviously. So right now I'll just pass some temporary object. Okay, temporary object with temporary product data. Okay, suppose from backend this kind of data is coming. Okay, I'll say that suppose this type of data with code as 200. Okay, success code 200 and message as success, and the data will be something like this. Okay, data will be coming inside an object. Okay, so suppose my product has the product ID of 1. Right now I'm just passing it something like this. Okay, and what else can we do is product name is product 1. Okay, and also some product description. We are assuming that this data is coming from backend. Okay, you need to call the API if you have backend later on. So we have product description. Okay, and also we have a few product images. Right now we don't have any backend, so I'll just call some images here. Okay, I'll call my images from assets. So I'll say import mg1 from dot dot slash assets images 1.png. Okay, 1.png, and this folder name was small. Okay, images. Okay, images. So similarly I'll call my image to img3. Okay, so we are just calling 3 images right now. So here I'll say that my product images will be a set of three images. Okay, will be a set of three images coming from backend. Right now I'm just passing three images. You can pass only one image if you want. Okay, so you can see that suppose my image set has three images. So later on I'll pass three images inside this image set and will display in the front page. Okay, so yeah, we have the product images, and similarly I'll say that it will have some category, brand, color, price. I'll just paste a few parameters to save time. So you can see that I have a few parameters coming from backend. You don't need to check out these one. I have just passed some random parameters. But make sure you have some quantity. No, not about quantity. I'm sorry. This is from the backend side, like how much products are available in stock. Okay, you need to focus on this product price and sales price because they will be important, and also the discount if you want. Okay, obviously product price, sale price, discount, and what else do we need is shipping charge. Okay, so you can see that I passed some parameters to this product, so it will be updated from obviously the backend side and the admin side, but this data will be shown in the front end side. Okay, so that's how all e-commerce websites work. We have this data now, and our job is easy now. Okay, so I'll say that if my temp has success code as 200, okay, has 200, that means I got my data. Okay, so if it's not 200, obviously I didn't get my data. So I'll say if temp dot code, okay, is 200, there might be some different response from backend. Okay, I'm just assuming this kind of data will come from backend. Okay, so I'll say my image set, okay, my image set will be what will be what will be simply, you can see that my product image has some array. Okay, has an array. Okay, so guys, I'll do one thing. I'll instead of this, I'll also pass it an ID. I'll also pass it an ID. So for now, I'll say that we'll have an ID of this, and my image will be img1. Okay, similarly, I'll do this for img2, img2. Okay, similarly, I'll do this for three. Okay, so you can see, yeah, it's fine. So I'll say data dot product image will be passed inside by image set. Okay, so here you can say that pass temp data, zeroth index of data. That means the first object of data array. You can see that data is an array. We need to target the first object. That means the zeroth index. Okay, we are targeting that. Inside this, we need to target the product image array. So you can see that we have targeted the product image array and our job is done. Okay, now what else do we need to do is set image set image set I'm sorry, set product data as the data zero. Okay, obviously this is our product data, okay, we don't need anything from above, so we are focusing on this. This is our product data. Okay, so I have passed it inside my product data hook. What else do we need is the active image. Okay, so I'll say my set active image will be the zeroth image. Okay, will be the zeroth image, zeroth object. Okay, that means this object will be my active image. If I click on the first image, that means this image, this will be my active image. If I click on this one, this will be my active image. Okay, so that's how initially it will be the zeroth one. Okay, always the zeroth one. So okay, now we are clear with this, and you can also build some logic if there is no image, what to do, and so on. Okay, right now we are not focusing on that because this is some sample UI. Okay, when we'll be getting from backend, we'll see that. Okay, so you can see that, yeah, we have passed some data and we have set our values. Okay, one more thing, this is important because we need to call this. So I'll say that use effect will be called. Why use effect will be called? Because we need to call data once when the page is loaded. Okay, when the page is loaded, so we'll say that when the page is loaded, that means empty brackets, call empty brackets here. I want to call my data. Why, how my data will be called? I'll simply call my function. I've created this function, so you can call this function any number of times for any situation. Right now I'll just say that when my page loads, I will call the data. Okay, suppose this is data is coming from backend. Okay, so now we have the data by calling this function. Now we can show this. How can we show this? Is suppose I'll say that might be that. Okay, right now show the data I'll just show the data in string format. So json.stringify product data. So you can see I am getting the product data. Okay, I'm getting the product data. So you can see we are pretty much fine here. And instead of this, we want to show this in the formatted form. Okay, but make a video with Expo for Google. Only after that I can use React Native. You can use React Native CLI. Definitely, Harry. I'll do one thing. I'll explain the same thing in both. By the way, there isn't much difference in React Native CLI and Expo CLI. Like I shifted from Expo to React Native due to some issues, React Native CLI due to some issues, and there isn't much difference. So I'll explain that the same in the same video in future. Okay, so don't worry about that. Like if you are aiming for React Native CLI, it won't be any problem. If you're aiming for Expo, it won't be any problem. Okay, so I'll try that. And there's some installation procedure difference between both of them, but else the working part, the logic part is same. Okay, and the code part is also same. So we'll see that. Okay. All right. So now what we have to do is we have the product data. Hmm. We have the product there. We have a few minutes, so I'll create the first section here. Okay, so what you have to do is first of all, I'll create a component here. Okay, I'll say that it will have my first component. Okay, I'll just comment this out, and let's give it a class name of PRODUCT product page. Okay, and first of all, I need my navbar. Okay, I need my navbar, so I'll simply call my navbar component. Okay, navbar component will be called. Okay, that's it. So you can see I am getting my navbar component. Now I can say that I need a go back button also. Okay, I need a go back button. So I'll say that div class name PC1. Okay, just some random class name, and I'll say that if I click on this button, I'll create a go back button. If I click on this button, I want to go to my home page. Okay, I want to go to my home page. Link is not defined because we need to import it. So import it from React Router DOM. Okay, React Router DOM has. Okay, so now you can see that if I'm going to create a button here. Okay, so I'll say that my button will be having suppose a back icon. Okay, so for that you can say that first of all you need to visit the hero icons and say left. Okay, so you can see chevron left is here, so I'll just copy this and you can paste it here directly. You don't need to install this anything for using this hero icons. Okay, again we want a text named as go back. Okay, so now you can see that if I click on this one, you can see that it took me to the home page. Okay, if I click on this again, it took me to the product page. Okay, so now it's working fine. We need to style this later on. Okay, we'll see that. And yeah, we have PC1. Okay, PC1. Inside PC1, product container one. Okay, short forms. I'll say that my section one will be here. Okay, we'll create a few sections. First section will be displaying the product image, product name, and some description. Okay, so I'll say that IMG. So guys, you can see that my first section is having what? My first section is having the image set, my active image, product name, product price, sale price. Okay, sale price and product price, and then I took out buy now button and this incrementer decrementer. Okay, first section is this one, C11 is this one. Okay, so we create a section named as C11. I'm sorry, I need to give it a section named as C11. Okay, inside this, first of all, our first section will be what? First section will be what? Image set. Okay, inside this we'll be having all the image set. So let's say that it will be having a class name of img okay, first section will be having the image set. That's it. And the second section will be having what? Will be having what? I'll say my active image will have class img big. Okay. my active image will be having class imgbig. So four image set will be shown inside this, and one image active image will be shown inside this. Okay, we have the first section here. Similarly, we need to focus on the second section, so I'll say my second section C12 will be something here. Okay, somewhere here. And I'll say first of all my C12 will have a heading of product name. Okay, so I'll say my product data dot product name will be shown here. Okay, that means the data coming from backend is stored via here. Okay, via the product data. Okay, you can see inside the product data my data is stored. Okay, whatever the data is inside, from that I called my product name. Okay, similarly you can call a few more things, like we can create a other section, like we want to show the price, right? Okay, so I'll say that my class name will be again C121. Okay, C121. All right. So in C121, I'll create a p tag showing my sales price. Okay, so I'll say that my class name is price, price. Okay, price. Inside this, I want to display, I want to display my product sales price. Okay, so I'll say dollar. Okay, product dot sales price. So you can see I'm getting the sales price as $80. I might have passed it something like this. Similarly, I want to show the actual price before discount. Okay, so I'll say that create a span tag inside the same key tag. Okay, and I want to show the product price. Okay, after discount it's the sales price. Okay, so the actual product price will be shown here. It's around $100 product price. So now you can see that we have the product price and the sales price as $80. Okay, so now after this we also need to create a container named as increment and decrement. Okay, so I'll say that it will have a class name of incrdecr. Okay, increment and decrement. So I'll say that my first one will be having a button of minus. Okay, and then we'll be having suppose we'll be having a p tag here. Okay, p tag will be displaying suppose a count. Okay, and button will be the plus one. Okay, so we'll say that our count will be stored in a hook here. Okay, I'll create a hook named as count, and we'll be storing the quantity there. Okay, so I'll say that my count quantity will be stored as here. Initially it will be one. Okay, so if I click on minus, I'll again say that if value is greater than 1, okay, then only decrease, else don't. Similarly, I'll say that if my value, for any number of values, I'll say that my count can be this. Okay, so that's it. You can add further more logic to the count, but yeah, it will work. Okay, so we also need to show the count value inside this one. So I'll say that my count value will be shown inside this. Okay, so you can see that as I increase, the count is increasing. Count is increasing. One more thing, I want to show sales price multiplied with the count. So simply you can say that into count. Okay, and also you can also multiply this with count. Okay, so as I see that if I suppose if I go back, okay, if I return to any other one, suppose if I go to this one, you can see that initially price is 80 and 100. Suppose if I increase the count, it's 160, 200, 240, 300. So it's real time. Okay, so it's very great. And now I guess this section is also covered. After this, what do we need to do is we have the increment and decrement. We also need another section after one to one. Okay, C1 to 1. I need another section. What section? Buy now add to cart section. Okay, so I'll say that my buy now add to cart section will be here. Okay, I'll say that on click. Okay, I am not calling anything. I'm just saying added to cart. Okay, added to cart, and obviously the text will be add to cart, and I'll say that it will be inside a division. It will be inside a division named as BTNCONT. BTNCONT. Okay, and let's close it. Okay, so inside this, I'll say my first button will be add to cart, and similarly, you can add the buy now button also. Okay, you can add the buy now button added to by now. Okay, so we are not going to do anything. I'm just showing you that these buttons will be available. Okay, so you can see I'm getting two buttons. If I click on this, add it to cart, and this is my buy now button, so it's working fine. Okay, so now we are going to focus on the image set also. Okay, so we'll show the image set first. All right, so I'll say that if image set exists, if image set has some values, okay. So I'll say that image set, okay. If image set is not null, that means it has some values, okay. So I'll say that image set, and also it is not null, and also it has some values, okay. So I'll say that if it has some values, then I'll map it one by one. Okay, suppose right now we have three items, so items will be called three times. Okay, index, and there will be three indexes. Okay, so now you can see that I'll return my image. Okay, my image will be returned. Suppose we had three image in image set, so three images will be shown in division. Okay, inside a division. Okay, so I'll say that my division will be imgsmall. Okay, image small. Let's close it. Okay, let's close it. And I'll say my image will have a source of the item which we are getting here, the image item which we are getting, and that's it. Okay, that's it. And I'll say that, yeah, we are clear with this, and I'll close it. Okay, I'll close it. Okay, I'll close it. And also one more thing, I'll say I want one more thing. I want my image, active image here. Okay, so my active image will be shown here. So I'll say again, I'll have a img src of active image. Okay, active image will be shown here. Okay, so you can see right now I'm getting a few images, and my active image is this one. That's why it's shown. Suppose if I say my active image is the second one. So you can see the second one will be shown. So you can see that it's working fine. So I'll say that if I click on anyone, I click on any image on click. So I'll change that to active one. Okay. I'll say that set active image to that item. If I click on any item, suppose if I click on this item, if I click on this item, you can see that this is the active one. If I click on this item, you can see that this is active one. If I click on this item again, this is the active one. So we'll style this now, but the logic must be clear. Okay, so you can see that all the image sets are formed, and also the active image is also shown here. Okay, and one more thing, I want to highlight the active image in the items, small items also. How can we do that? Suppose here you can see that the active image, whatever the active image is, also highlighted here. Okay, it's shown here, but it's also highlighted here. Suppose if I click this, you can see that this is also highlighted here. So how can we do that? We can say that let's give it a class. Okay, let's give it a class name. Here we can give it a class name of if the active image dot id matches with this current item's id, that means this current item is active. Okay, else don't add any class to it. Okay, so I have added the active class if it's the active image. Okay, so that means if this is the active image, active class will be added to this one. That means the border will be displaying the active class. Okay, so now we'll be writing the css of this one. Okay, but okay, we'll be writing the stylings of this one. So I'll say my product page will be here, right? My product page is here. So my product page will be called, and I'll say my PC one. Okay. So in product page, we have the PC one. Okay, we have the PC one. Okay, so I'll say it will have some padding. Justify content will be center, and everything will be fine. And I also need to import the CSS here also. So I'll say my CSS will be called. So you can see that, yeah, everything is in center in PC1. Okay, you can see that this is my product container one. Okay, fine. Now what else? We need to target the C11, and I want to give it a width of 30%. Okay, I want to give it a 30% width. Okay, so I'll say that justify content will be flex start, and I want to give it a flex width of 30%. That means it will take overall width of 30%, and we'll see that. And what is actually C11? You can see that my C11 contains uh, the image section. Okay, the whole image section. C12 contains my text vagera. Okay, so you can see, yeah, it's pretty much arranged. Okay, so we are talking about this image section. This image section is taking 30%. Okay, so now what do we have to do is I'll say my image set will be taking only width of 10%. That means all over, it will be taking width of 10% maximum. Okay, so 10% maximum. We'll need to style the images, by the way. We need to shorten them. That's why it's not taking the width. Okay, and I'm also giving some width, some margin. Okay, so why am I giving this flex direction column? That because I want to show my image set in column. Okay, images in column and the active image in the right side. Okay, so I'll say that my image set image will be taking maximum 100% width of the given one. That means the 10%, obviously 10% and with some margin. Okay, so you can see that it will take somewhere around 9 to 10% width of the C11. Okay, of the C11. Okay, so now we are fine. And after this we also need to say that my active image will be highlighted. Okay, active image will be highlighted, so you can see that my active image is highlighted. The active one will always match with the ID of this one. Okay, with the item. So you can see that if the ID matches, it's highlighted. You can see that if the ID matches, it's highlighted. Okay, so it's working fine. Now what we have to do is similarly we need to target the IMG big, and I'll say that it will take 70% width. So you can see, yeah, it's taking 70% width, and yeah, it's looking fine. You can see that, yeah, it's looking fine. So you can also style it a bit more if you want. And if I decrease the border to 2, you can see, yeah, it's looking, I guess 5 pixel was fine. You can change it if you want. So if you want to change the active one, you can change it. Okay. So now I guess we are fine with this. And I am actually rushing a bit because we are lacking up with the time. I will wait for that video, brother. Thank you. Okay, sure. Hi, bro. How are you? I'm good. How are you? All right, so again, we have the section one as completed. And what else do we need is here you can see that we have section 2, that means C12. Okay, we need to target the C12 inside the product. Okay, so I'll say my C12 will, again, things will be in column. Okay, things will be in column inside C12. Okay, how will it work? You can see that everything is in column. Okay, everything is column in C12. This is the C12 section, this was the C11 section. Okay, so now here you can see that we have given it some width of 40%. Okay, C11 had a width of 30% of overall. So I'm actually giving them some space. Okay, by myself. Okay, so you can see that inside C12 we have C121. Okay, what does that do? Here you can see that inside C12 we had the C121. Okay, so inside C121 you can see that I have given it some p tag and some things. Okay, so you can see that I actually want it to look something like this. You can see I actually want it to look something like this. So what can we do for that? Let's see. So I'll say that my C121 will have some justify content space between. You can see that, yeah, now it's taking justify content space between. That means I actually wanted the price to be in left side and this in the right side. Okay, you can change it by suppose if you want in left side, so you can simply make it uh, flex start. Okay, flex start, so it will always be in left side. So that's up to you. I wanted space between, so I have given it space between. Okay, similarly we'll target the price. Okay, we'll target the price. What is the price class name? You can see that I've given it a class name of price. Okay, so I'll say that it will be some color. Okay, the price will be of some color. Price will be of some color green. You can see that the price is of some color green. I want to make this span as line through. Okay, so I'll say that my span will have some fonts, some smaller font size, and it will have some line through. Okay, it will have some line through. You can see that now it became smaller. Okay, similarly I'll say my increment and decrement container will have some styling. Okay, I want my items to be spaced between with some minimum width and with some aligned items center and some border of my green color. Okay, and my border radius is 5. So you can see, yeah, right now it's having some border. And similarly we'll say that my button will have some style. Okay, my button will have some style. Again, I'll say that my p type present inside this one. My p type present inside this one. That means my count value. will be not having any margin and padding, but will be having some font size. Okay, so I'll say my font size will be increased. So if I increase this, you can see that it's looking pretty much fine. Okay, so now after this, I'll target my button container. I want everything from flex start and display as flex and some margin from top. Okay, now I'll say my buttons inside my btn container. Okay, btn container will have some black green background and text color as white and some width and height. Okay, so you can see that yeah, we are looking into this, and instead of this I can give it some gap. Okay, so gap will actually help us 10 pixel. Okay, so you can see yeah, now it's having some gap also without actually having some extra margin. Okay, so now we have the button. If I hover on the button, I want black color. Okay, so if I hover on this, I'm getting the black color. Okay, so if I go back, I'm into this page. If I again go to this one, okay. Uh, by the way, if I go to this one, you can see that I am getting this page. Okay, so once this is done, we need to target the add to cart button also. Okay, guys, actually I have created this go back button. Okay, I've created this go back button, so we need to target that. Okay, so I'll say that my go back button will have some class, and we'll be using it everywhere. Okay, we'll be using it pretty much everywhere. So what I suggested is to write the css of go back button in the app.js. Okay, in app.css, I'm sorry, in app.css. Okay, so I'll say that in app.css I'm writing the styling of go back button. Okay, so go back button will be simply always in the top. Okay, always in the top. You can see that I've given it a background color of white, a background color of green, and text color of white, and some border and some padding and some border radius. And I've also made the position as absolute top and left. So it will take the position of what? Position of outer container. That means this button is inside pc1, so it will take position of pc1. Okay, not the actual window. It will take the position of pc1, 10 pixel from pc1 top, 10 pixel from left side of pc1. Okay, so now here you can see that if I reload this, I given this a class. Okay, I've not given this a class, so I'll say class name will be go back. Okay, so you can see that now we have our go back button. Okay, so what else do we need is we also need to style the SVG also. Okay, so I'll say my SVG is actually taking a lot of space. So I'll say it will have some width and height. Okay, so you can see now it's looking pretty much fine. And if I click on go back button, you can see that we are taken to this page. Okay, so if I am clicking on this one, suppose if I click on this one, okay, add to cart is working fine. And if I click on this I1, you can see it takes me to that page. Okay, don't worry about the same data because we are not taking the backend data. Okay, we are actually taking the data, some raw data. But I have explained throughout the video how can replace the data from backend. Okay, so whenever we try to use the backend, whenever we try to add the backend, we can add it very easily. Okay, in future if we'll make videos on that, then it will be done very easily. Okay, so I hope I am clear with this video, and that's it for today. I'll upload it on GitHub today. I mean, right now, I'll just upload it. Okay, so I'll just close this. I'll say git add, git commit, git. Okay, so the changes are pushed to my GitHub repository. You can simply visit github.com/virhj014. You can follow me here in the repository section. We can see that we have fit grocery. Okay, you can also star this one. Okay, you can also star this one so that it's available in your star section. Okay, so that's up to you, and you can check out this repository. If you don't find this repository, you can search it above. All right, so this is the URL. I'll share this URL in the live chat, or you can directly type it in your browser. Okay, github.com/virj014/fit grocery. Okay, FNGR capital fit grocery. Okay, so I'll just share it in the live chat. All right. So I hope I am clear with this, and that's it for today. In the live chat and in the description, you'll find a link of full stack development course by Geeks for Geeks. So this is a very great course. You can check out this one if you want to learn advanced concepts of full stack development. Okay, so that's it for today, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, see you, have a good day. Bye bye.